The new iPhone SE 4 is entering mass production, and today we're going to be taking a first look at the phone and going through all of its new upgrades, so make sure you hit subscribe now and we'll get right into it. So first up, we've got a report from the Information Today, and they tell us that Apple are going to be ramping up production of the new iPhone SE 4 in October, and this not only confirms that it is definitely coming soon, but it also confirms that it won't be launching alongside the iPhone 16 lineup. The report states that the official launch is likely to be in January 2025, which could be the case, but if we look at previous launches, then they've always been held in March, so March 2025 also seems like a very credible date. While the iPhone SE 4 is going to remain positioned as Apple's budget offering to allow people to use iOS at a much cheaper cost, it's still packing plenty of upgrades from the previous iPhone SE, and it's been modernized to suit the current times. Now, the iPhone SE 4 is the first iPhone SE to offer Face ID, although unfortunately it is going to be losing the Touch ID as well. We also get an upgrade in the display size, and it's going to be around 6.06 inches, and this is a huge jump up from the predecessor's 4.7, and it's also going to be the first iPhone SE to feature an OLED display. Now, the iPhone SE 4 is also going to get a USB-C port instead of the Lightning port thanks to all of the recent changes to iPhones, and it's also going to be powered by Apple's A18 chipset, which is the same chipset being used in the upcoming iPhone 16 series. It was previously rumored that the iPhone SE 4 was going to be based on the chassis of the iPhone 14, but new reports are claiming it's going to be based on the iPhone 16 chassis, and this makes sense as that's currently in production anyway. Now, the main differences with the iPhone SE 4, however, is going to be the notch on the front instead of the dynamic island. When it comes to the rear panel, it's going to be a single camera, which is going to be a 48 megapixel primary camera, and the chassis is going to be made from aluminium. Now, we expect to see 6 to 8 gigabytes of RAM to keep up with all of the new AI features. And then another change in the iPhone SE 4 is going to be the new 5G modem from Apple. And reliable analyst Ming-Chi Kuo says that from 2026 onwards, Apple are going to be using their new in-house 5G modem on all phones instead of relying on Qualcomm for the modems. Now, next up, we've got great news on the price, and according to the reports, Apple is targeting a sub $500 price tag for the new iPhone SE 4, and some leakers are claiming $429 launch price, the same as we had with the last iPhone SE, but personally, I think that's very unlikely. Now, if Apple can deliver all of these new specs at such a low price point though, then the iPhone SE 4 is going to be a very successful phone, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of sales. Now, for those excited for the new iPhone SE 4 though, we're now going to run through the full specs, design, and the expected pricing to help you guys decide if it is going to be worth the wait. So hit subscribe now and we'll get right into it. For the iPhone SE 4, we get a 6.06-inch Super Retina OLED display. It's going to be a 60Hz LTPS display with an expected resolution of 2556 by 1179, and it's going to be protected by ceramic shield. The peak brightness is still unknown at the moment, and of course they do need to make some cost savings, but we're hoping for a peak brightness of around 2000 nits. Now, unlike recent iPhones, we won't be seeing the dynamic island on the iPhone SE 4, and we're instead going to get the old style notch to house the selfie camera and the Face ID sensor. The selfie camera is going to be a 12 megapixel wide angle camera, and the exact sensor is still unknown at the moment, but it's likely to use the same camera from the iPhone 14. Over on the rear, we get one camera, which will of course be a wide angle camera, and while the exact sensor is still unknown at the moment, we know it's going to be a 48 megapixel camera. Now, it's going to be powered by the A18 Bionic and come with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. It's also going to be powered by a 3300 mAh battery with wired and wireless charging, and while the fast charging is still unknown at the moment, we expect it to be around 30 watts. It's going to be shipping with iOS 18, and Apple are aiming for a launch at less than $500, and of course it's going to be launching at the start of 2025. So overall, the iPhone SE 4 is looking like a great refresh to the iPhone SE series, and is looking much more like a modern phone than the previous generations. Now, the iPhone SE is always a popular choice with consumers as it delivers all of the latest chipset and performance without breaking the bank with all the bells and whistles that other premium devices have. And the phone has been delayed multiple times, but it seems like 2026 is the likely launch candidate, and that's not too far away now. So if you're not too concerned about having the best of everything on your smartphone, then you can skip the upcoming iPhone 16 launch in the next couple of months and hold out for the new iPhone SE 4. Now, for those of you with the older iPhone SE, I also think it offers plenty of reasons to actually upgrade, so this is no doubt going to be reflected in Apple's sales. Now, of course, launch is still potentially 6 months away. We're no doubt going to receive more and more information as we approach it, and of course, I'll be sharing it as soon as it comes in, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing in the future.